Thunderbolts is a 2025 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics team The Thunderbolts. Produced by Marvel and made by Walt Disney, it's the 36th film in the MCU, and it was directed by Jake Schiefer. With an ensemble cast of Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Louis Pullman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Davis Harbour, and others. A group of anti-heroes are caught in a deadly trap and are forced to work together on a dangerous mission, discovering a new threat in the century. So I just wanted to talk about it, got out the theaters, and wanted to give it a quick review. Here is my review of The Thunderbolts. In Malaysia, Yelena Belova destroys a laboratory on behalf of the CIA director, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, to conceal her involvement with an OXE group Sentry superhuman project. As de Fontaine faces imminent impeachment for her work with the OXE group, she dispatches Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster to covert facility under the pretense of a mission. Now that's where I want to stop real quick. That mission, it was pretty interesting to see them all fight, and they had a pretty good fight scene throwing the knife back and forth, and also seeing how they played off each other with the MCU dialogue, the slapstick comedy that the MCU tends to do. So it was nice to see them all together on a mission, Suicide Squad kind of gathering. Once there, the operatives are pitted against one another in a deadly confrontation where Ghost kills Taskmaster, and that was insane. I didn't think Taskmaster was going to die that early in the film. I figured she was going to die, but not that early. Yeah, that was crazy. Hopefully they can add the male version of Taskmaster into the MCU. That would be interesting. Yeah, that was unexpected. And a mysterious man named Bob unexpectedly appears. Upon learning that they were sent by Valentina to be incinerated along with any evidence of her misconduct, they had managed to escape the trap. And I really liked that part. They were all sent there to basically die. Suicide Squad, essentially, but Marvel version. Really cool. Valentina learns that the group has survived, including Bob, who presumed dead during the Century trials. When she arrives at the site, Bob creates a diversion by drawing the enemy's fire without sustaining injury, allowing Yelena, Walker, and Ghost to escape. Then Bob goes into the air before crash landing back into the Earth, where he's captured and teleported to Avengers Tower in New York, and they renamed it the Watchtower, which I really like. That's a Marvel comic reference. Meanwhile, Alexei, who overhears the details of De Fontaine's plot while working with her as a chauffeur, rescues Yelena, Walker, and Ghost, and then dubs the group the Thunderbolts in the car, and more of the MCU comedy. That was one of the things. The dialogue, it was kind of a bit cheesy in a way, cringy, even in parts. But that's just the MCU dialogue now. The Thunderbolts are pursued by De Fontaine's agents before they are ultimately apprehended by Bucky, who intends to have them testify in the impeachment proceedings. Upon learning that Bob was the subject of De Fontaine's top secret experiments, Bond joins their forces and heads to New York to infiltrate the Watchtower. So yeah, when Bucky came in, I was really glad to see him. He's honestly one of my favorite characters in the MCU now. He's one of the last remaining characters from Phase 1 essentially, because he was there during Avengers, um, well, the first Avenger, Captain America movie. Um, I really wish it would have centered more on Bucky, but it gave him his time, and I felt like the movie centered on Yelena really good too. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just want Bucky to be in the spotlight more. I feel like he's um, too in the background. But anyway, the Thunderbolts discover that DeFontaine has turned Bob into an immensely powerful superhuman known as the Sentry, who easily overpowers them and forces emergence of Sentry's destructive alter ego, the Void, who begins turning everyone in the vicinity into shadows and engulfs New York in supernatural darkness. So it was really cool to see how the Void power worked. He was flattening people like crazy, and I was like, how can they really stop this guy? Um, yeah. And I figured it was gonna be talk no jutsu, and it basically was. Uh, Yelena went into his void and talked to him, and she faced her own past, and it was kind of a nice ending. Not even an ending for her character, but a good bookend to that part of her character. Her facing her demons and coming face to face with her sister and everything. Really good. Um, they travel. Well, Yelena finds Bob hiding in a mental construct of his childhood bedroom. They are soon joined by the Thunderbolts, and together they travel back to the memory of Bob's internal experimentation in Malaysia. The Thunderbolts confront the Void but are overpowered, and as the struggle threatens to fully consume Bob, the team intervenes, affirming their belief in him. Their solidarity empowers Bob to regain control, overcoming the Void as the light is returned to the city. And then the threat neutralized, the Thunderbolts prepare to apprehend Valentina, but she manipulates the proceedings by staging a press conference in which she rebrands them as the New Avengers. So yeah, I kind of figured the asterisk was for something. So yeah, they're the New Avengers essentially. And then they receive a distress signal from space in the post-credit footage, and then a large 4 emblem shows itself, meaning we're going to maybe see them, or not in the Fantastic Four, but maybe in the post-credit or something. So yeah, that's it. Now just my thoughts about the Thunderbolts. The cinematography was good. It wasn't great or spectacular. It was good. Um, they framed a lot of shots very well. The action was decent, but the action scene against Bob, that was really, really great. The Sentry fight scene was awesome. So I'll give that half a point. The score, the music, it was typical MCU stuff. Nothing really stood out, but it was decent for what it was. So score gets a half a point. The plot was the simple: get the group together, have them have something to fight for, and them helping out Bob in the end. It was very cathartic. So it wasn't too bad. I'll give it a half a point. The pacing, the action, it didn't really blend well because we only really got 3 big action scenes in it. But for the most part, they placed them somewhat well. The exposition could have been flowed a little bit better, and also the dialogue, man. Just that MCU humor. It's just I'm not gonna say cringe fest, but it's like it gives you it makes you laugh nervously, I guess. So the plot and dialogue, I'll give another half point. Characters. Helena was awesome to see her. She was one of my favorites from the Black Widow movie. I love the Red Guardian, man. He's hilarious actually, and Bucky, he's one of my favorite OG Avengers. Hopefully, he has a bigger role in the future. Um, the John Walker, Ghost, um, Taskmaster, Bob, really cool. Liked him. Would like to see more. And final score overall, I'll say it was a pretty strong entry in the MCU. I could say maybe even top 20. I'll say maybe top 15. I don't want to go too crazy, but it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to revisit it again. So for the overall score, I'll give it a 8 out of 10. It was decent, and actually it was really good. Not decent. It was really good. Great time, great fun. So that's it. Just quick thoughts about the Thunderbolts. I recommend it. If you could, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow all the socials, do all that great stuff. Until next time, Anime Senpai 0J out. Peace.